Hello everyone, odedex here, welcome to episode 120 of S02 Let's Play. So in the previous episode I said I'm gonna have kind of a large project starting today in this episode, but to be honest, after thinking about it, it may end up being not that much of a complicated project. I was doing some thinking about on how do I want to execute that thing, and we'll see how that turns out. But it still will be a relatively complicated project. Basically, what the project is automatically creating alvearies, or basically at least the building blocks of alvearies. Maybe the next step will be actually setting them up, but at the moment it will be only the building blocks of alvearies. And the reason why I thought it's going to be complicated is because I want to do it only... Now, alvearies have various recipes and everything that you actually need. You need scented paneling, you need impregnated casings, and all of those you need oil, and you need seed oil, you need honey, you need many different kind of things. And I thought it will be a lot more complicated, but after giving it a little bit of thought, I actually realized it's not going to be as complicated. But we'll see, we'll see. I may be wrong, and let's get started. Either way, it's probably going to be using some red power logic. In the previous episode, in case you missed it, I added all the red power gates into my crafting system, so probably going to use them this episode. We'll see. Okay, so let's start addressing the big problem as little problems, just as you should do with everything. So an alveary is created using scented paneling and an impregnated casing. So let's begin with the actual impregnated casing. To create one, you're gonna need a seed oil capsule or a seed oil can, any type of anything, and 8 logs. Now, logs are not a problem. I have my wood farm, that's not a problem whatsoever. Seed oil, however, is slightly, it could be a little bit of a problem. So let's see how can I address this. So the first thing I'm gonna do is get rid of this. I no longer am planning to do any of this crafting there. I'm probably simply gonna move the soul frame crafting actually to be a part of my applied logistics, but for the time being I'm simply going to break this part, but the actual mechanism probably going to keep there, so I can remind myself that it's still there, and I can probably going to need to do it eventually. And let's just seal up the missing blocks using some sand, just like this, and here. There we go. Okay, so that means any seed running into the system will now lead up into here, into my storage system. So now let's set up a recipe that will actually create seed oil. So in order to create seed oil can, let's see, there are a couple of methods. Okay, so we got cherries, which will create this amount of seed oil. Walnut, which will create 1/5 of a bucket. That's pretty good actually, but I still don't really know how to create walnuts yet, so I'm gonna stay away from this. Chestnut, again, same thing, I'm not allowed to get to it. Seeds, which are the actual thing that I'm interested in. So I'm gonna need 50 seeds for 1 can. 50 seeds for 1 can. Or 50 pumpkin seeds. Or 50 melon seeds. And that's pretty much my options. Or Heineken seeds, 20 of those. Heineken seeds... Well, I cannot farm them using my golem, so that's kind of a problem. It's kind of irrelevant. Alright, let's see, in terms of seeds, I've got 1000 of those. In terms of melons and pumpkins... Okay, I'm simply going to integrate all the types of recipes, and we'll see how that turns out. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to need is obviously a squeezer, and I'm actually going to create a bunch of them. So let's have, I've got already 3 sturdy casing, let's just make all 3 of them. So picking some glass and some tin, and let's make 3 squeezers. And let's see, let's get rid of everything that I don't really need on me at the moment. So a squeezer has a couple of properties. Basically, any item that you push through the top will go into here, unless it's kind of a liquid container, and then it will automatically go into here. So what I'm going to do is actually paste all the different possible recipes. So first, let's actually let's get some seeds on me. Let's get some pumpkin seeds and some melon seeds. And let's create some blank patterns. I'm going to need a bunch of them. So let's get one and then create 10 more. Okay. And let's start doing math. So first, let's teach the system that one melon turns into a seed. And also one pumpkin turns into 4 seeds. Okay. And do this. And I think in terms of priority, I don't know what's going to pick first. I think it's probably will be by the order that I set them. So I'm simply going to set pumpkins first and melons then seeds, because essentially this is the priority which I like to use them. Pumpkins have virtually no use. And melons also don't have much of a use, really. You can make the glistering melon, which is actually quite a good type of food, but... And seeds are... Well, seeds are seeds, so they're always useful. Okay, so let's get some cans. I already got the recipe for cans installed, if you don't recall, using aluminum. So let's get some cans and teach my recipe here. Let's teach that again. Okay, so for... I'm pretty much gonna need 50 of each. All of them require 50. Let's again make sure that the recipe for seed oil is 50 of anything. Okay, so 50 of those, 50 of those, and 50 of those. Okay. It would have been nice if I could have used kind of the OR dictionary, so it will know to take either one of those in just one recipe, but since I can't, I don't have much of a choice. This is the wrong place. Okay, so 50 seeds will give you... Okay, I'm gonna need one seed oil can to begin with. Let's just grab those. I should have some more here, actually. No, I shouldn't. Okay, so let's teach the recipe again, that if you give me 50 seeds and an empty can, you'll get back an oil seed can. Okay, so that's the first recipe. The second recipe will be pretty much the same, except it's going to require 50 melon seeds, or 50 pumpkins. Yeah, that's actually melon seeds. Again, exact same thing. And lastly, the pumpkin seeds. So now there are basically 3 recipes to create the same product. It's just different options to create the same product. So let's implement it. Let's add it to the system. I'm going to need an ME interface and some cables and an import pipe. Interface I've got some, cables I've got some, and then import pipe, import bus. Every time I say pipe, a kitten dies, because those are not pipes, those are buses. Should I use a relay? Probably not. No, let's not use a relay. Okay, so I'm gonna add it right here. This pulverizer pretty much sealed. Like I can just build next to it. There is no problem. So let's build the squeezer here, and it will be easier for me to actually implement some power into it. Do I have conduits in my system? Nope. Probably should implement a way to craft those as well at some point. That will be a good idea. So conduits. Where are you? Where are my conduits? There we go. Okay, so conduits, power the squeezer, and can seal off the empty floor. And okay, I'm going to need the relay. Yep, going to the relay. Okay, just a quick tangent. Since I don't have relay, I'm using relays quite a lot, and I don't yet have the recipe. Let's actually automate the process of crafting them. So let's automate the process of crafting transposers and then relays. It's gonna be useful. I'm using them quite a lot, so there is no reason not to do it in my opinion. So a relay requires piston. I already got automated, wood and cobblestone. So wood, let's get the piston, just one, and some redstone. So that gives me the transposer. There we go. Should be able to shift click even to a full page, just saying. And now let's actually take one of them out. Let's take one transposer out, craft one. Can dump this back in here. And the recipe for relay also will require a buffer, so that's wood and iron bars. Now iron bars I still don't have implemented as well, so implement that as well. So 6 of those gives you iron bars. And actually, do I have some buffers in here? Yep, I do, so that saves me some time. And now transposer, a buffer, and a red doped wafer will give me whatever I need. I need one red doped wafer though. So it looks like this, this, and this. Nope, what I got wrong? Okay, the wood and the cobblestone are the opposite way. Okay, relay. Nice. This I'm using relays quite often. Lately mostly, so there is no reason not to add them. And let's dump everything back in here. And let's get relay. Just craft 10 and pick up 5. Okay, so with that relay, the reason I'm going to do relay is mostly because if I place the ME interface right here, it may be pushing things into this relay, which I don't want it to happen, so relay. Okay, and place it right here, and tell that interface that give it all 3 recipes. Let's give them the priority with, let's say pumpkins are the first, then melon, and then seeds. And pretty much I think if it's going to need an oilseed can, it will first look through this recipe and only then this and then this. And I can just dump those 12 extra here and insert an import bus right here. Always import, move single items, there is no need to move stacks. You can see that it doesn't try to move out cans from here. It simply doesn't work that way. And you can also see that any cans that I place in here get pushed into this slot. This is what? Okay, this is odd. Interesting. I don't remember it working that way. Okay, let's do some testing. That's actually something I did test on a separate world, but not like this. Okay, let's do some testing. Let's get those scans back. What happens if I push them from the side, if that's even possible? Okay, then they go into here. They should go into here though. Okay, then let's not use relays. As usual, relays. Red Power hates forestry machines. Let's use an hopper. Okay, so I got my hopper here. Let's see how that turns out. If I place a can here, okay, then it goes to the right spot. And the ME interface should interface with it just the same way. So there is no problem. Again, this is working. No problem. Okay, so let's just dump those extra cans, let them sit in here. And again, if I place any type of seed, although I don't really want to, it will be placed. Let's actually, let's just place 50 of those so we can start crafting something. They will go into here. So there you have it. Okay, so seed oil production is done. Let's just interface the last part, which is actually creating the impregnated casings, which is simply a very basic recipe actually, although I'm going to need a carpenter for that. Again, let's take a look. For an impregnated casing, I'm going to need a carpenter with one seed for every seed can. I can create 4 impregnated casings because you need a quarter of a bucket to craft one, and yeah. Okay, so let's quickly create a carpenter and start doing that thing. Okay, so I got the carpenter. Let's actually start pasting the recipe. So I'm gonna use the same birch wood that I've been using so far. And again, remember that I'm creating them 4 at a time per can. So this is the smallest divisible number. I cannot go less than 4 because that's basically less than 1 can. So I'm gonna tell the recipe will say that I'm gonna need actually some impregnated casings to begin with. Do I have some laying around by any chance? Probably not. Yeah, can I do I have some remnant of seed oil here? Apparently so. But I guess not enough for this. Okay, let's create some. I'm gonna need to have a sample. There is no way around it, unfortunately. But it should be fine otherwise. I will need, however, another can. Okay, this is something that I've not tested yet in terms of the carpenter, how exactly the inventories work. I hope they'll be fine, but I won't actually know until I try. But let's see. So let's tell the recipe that the result of giving it 32 birchwood and 1 seed oil can will result in 4 impregnated casings and print that, encode that pattern. And let's actually set up the carpenter with power and everything. Again, this is pretty much set up, so I can just use it. Can I use? No, okay, let's just use it again. So, this and this. Okay, so that carpenter. Oh, actually, I'm going to paste the recipe. Okay, that's not the problem really, but okay. So that's the recipe. It's gonna need some seed oil. I think I'm going to need another hopper. Let me get another hopper. Okay, so I got myself an hopper. Let's see that it interfaces the way I would expect it to. So if I place some wood in here, it goes into the actual. Okay, that was what I was worried about. Okay, we can do something else though. How exactly will that interface from the side? So say I've got an ME interface. Okay, let's try with the relay. Now, yeah, as I've said, this is something that I've not really tested yet, so this is why it's kind of a little bit derpy, but let's see how that works out. What happens if I try pushing items from the side? Although I'm using a relay, so relays aren't so friendly. Okay, then it goes into the inventory. That's fine. Okay, so I can work something out. I can basically say, well, this carpenter is designed to create impregnated casing, which means it's always going to need seed oil, which means basically there is no other use for anything but seed oil. So that's not a problem. So if I try, say, I'm going to do 1 export bus. I can just get it using this. Keep forgetting that I have this wireless system in place. Let's get some of those. What happens if the export bus is connected to the top and I tell that I want it to export seed oil cans? What happens then? That happens, which is exactly what I wanted to happen. So this will always keep feeding seed oil. I think it will not be crafting if there aren't any, which is actually not ideal. Why is it not crafting? Okay, you need to do it on... Oh, nice. This is actually a nice thing to know. If you don't set it to craft, it won't craft apparently. Okay, so move single items / craft. So if they're available, move them. If not, craft them. And we'll change that. Actually, if I change... Okay, let's keep it connected for a second like this and replace this with this and done. Pretty much. This can be removed. This will be the recipe. However, no, I need to change that. I need to change the recipe not to consume any seed oil cans. That will be silly. So do this. It works, right? Yep, there we go. And place that. Okay, so seed oil will always be supplied automatically into this carpenter. It won't be part of the problem. And hopefully, okay, I'm going to also keep my system resupplied with some availability of seed oil cans to make sure that they're always available. Although I don't think at any given point, yeah, there is no way whatsoever for the system to ask for so much seed oil that it won't be able to keep up. So it should be fine. Those numbers are odd. What are those? Why are there so many 18 here? Like it asked for a bunch at the same time? Well, I don't know. Okay, I can get rid of all of those things and this, and that's it. Okay, so impregnated casing taken care of. Let's see if we can actually craft some. Although it's gonna consume some seed oil and that will be a little bit odd. But let's say if I'm asking for impregnated casing from my network. What? Oh wait, yeah. Wait, what? I pasted the wrong thing apparently here. Good thing I'm testing stuff. Okay, there we go. So place that in here, and if I'm asking for impregnated casing, should craft. If I ask for one, it's gonna craft 4, because that's the minimum. It cannot do anything else. But there you go. Yeah, you see it's crafting, and I actually forgot to import from any of those exits. And that's bad. It only needs. Wait, actually, okay, it doesn't import for. Always active and connect. It doesn't import from here, right? Yeah. Okay. So now I have impregnated casing available to me, right? Right. There we go. Okay, so I'm noticing that my storage here is getting kind of not so great. So let's upgrade one of those 16Ks into being a 64K. So let's empty the casing and take the storage block out and actually create a 64K. So I was emptying the thing just to save some quartz, because if it already has that storage block, it doesn't need to consume a lot more quartz. Like a third of the quartz is already taken care of. So that helps because I don't have that much quartz. I like seeing that process, the crafting monitor, seeing how it works. Although the fact of the matter is that because it's limited by the speed of the furnaces, it's kind of a little bit slow. But ooh, why did it change to, or did it finish? Okay, it finished. Suddenly changed to the capsule, and you know what was going on. Okay, so let's place that in here, and let's empty out, or let's not empty out. Okay, let's keep things as is. So that's fine. I wonder if there is some internal optimization of everything. Like if the system tries to balance things around here in terms of types and bytes used. It's probably going to be a very complicated thing to actually do in terms of the modding itself, but it will be very interesting. Okay, so building the alveoli blocks. One part is completed. Now the second part. Scented paneling. Now scented panelings are created using beeswax, pollen, and basically any type of wood and royal jelly. Now when I look at my bee products so far, in terms of, let's see, royal jelly, I've got 722, and remember you need 216 of both royal jelly and pollen. Now pollen, I only have 306, and this is basically, this is kind of the determining problem, and I'm air quoting here, but it's not exactly a problem. This is basically the resource that I'm waiting for. Like, I don't want to create any alveoli block unless I know for a fact that I can create all the necessary blocks. Like, I only want to create them 27 at a time. I don't want them created when I don't have enough to complete the set. And this is the entire logic behind why I thought it would be a problematic project, but apparently it might not be. And in terms of beeswax, again, I have a ton of beeswax. This is not a problem. And lastly, well, wood is wood. There is no problem with wood. I have an infinite income of wood. Okay, so let's start setting up the system. And actually, this is something that I have yet to actually build. I was thinking about it a lot to see how can I get this done properly. But let's see. So I wouldn't like to create any alveoli block unless I have enough of everything. So let's do some red power logic. Let's actually, even though pollen is my lowest required material, let's check for all three. And again, I'm assuming that I always have enough impregnated casing, because I actually will. In terms of seed oil, I really have no problem whatsoever. And in terms of why is it doing this? Why is it stopping midway and creating more? I don't think it's supposed to do that. It's supposed to be creating one at a time, but for some reason it doesn't. It's kind of always pushing more and more. Maybe it's because there are other things running at the same time, although there shouldn't really be. Only seed oil is being used here, is being created. Okay, so again, as I started saying, even though pollen is the actual thing that I'm going to have problem with, let's assume that all three are problematic. But actually now I'm noticing that I forgot one more thing. I'm going to need to start storing honey in terms of liquid, and actually that shouldn't be too much of a problem. I did make an additional squeezer, and let's actually use that. Let's place it right here and continue that network of forestry machines. And let's actually have a quick look. Honey can be created using, okay, so honey drop gives you 1/10 of a bucket, and honeydew also gives you 1/10 of a bucket. So let's stitch both of them into the system the same way I did previously. I think honeydew will be the higher priority to be used because it's not as useful as honey. Let's get some honeydew, honey drops, and I'm going to need some honey cans to actually extract the recipe from. Do I have some laying around? Probably not. Can I do something like this? Let's just steal some from here. There we go. So a honey can, and let's also take one empty can and teach my system how to create honey cans. So either take 10 honeydew. Wait, let's follow the same steps that I did here. So eventually I went for, okay, let's do the same thing. Okay, so an empty can and 10 of either will give you the honey can. So 10 honeydew, and an empty can will give you a honey can, and paste that recipe. And instead of pretty much the same thing, just using normal honey, and that's it. Gives you also a honey can. I got already the hopper. I've got this. Again, I can just set it up. So let's do that. From the top, I'm going to one more import. So I can just import from here. It's very nicely connected, right? And teach my ME interface that the higher priority will be using honeydew, because I don't really have much use for honeydew, and honey drop will be the second priority. And again, let's dump some cans here just for good measure, so always have some sort of buffers in here. I've got 2, let's create 10 more, actually it's 12 more, and simply dump them in here. Now, honey drops will actually create the byproduct of propolis, but it doesn't actually matter. The import bus will import either from the expected product or from the byproduct inventory space slot. It doesn't matter whatsoever. We can actually test that. Let's create 2 honey cans. So you should start seeing honey being moved here. You can see the cans are in here, and honeydew is being squeezed. Honeydew, I think, has no byproduct, only honey drops. In the squeezer, yeah, it has no byproduct, but honey drops have the propolis byproduct, 5% chance. But the import bus should take care of that, nevertheless, no problem whatsoever. And I should have 1 honey can. Yep, there we go. And soon I'm gonna have a second one. Okay, so honey also taken care of. Alright, so just looking at the episode length, I think I'm gonna have to delay the actual crafting process I'm gonna probably have to delay it to the next episode. Just a quick look. I like every here and then come to the controller and take a look on how much things have been added to the network, and actually you can see it consumes up to 160 units per tick, which is basically 80 AU per tick because I'm using industrial craft. So that's close to having 4 geothermals running constantly. Now here then you saw it spiking towards like 154 or 155 units per tick, so that's kind of less, but overall pretty much close to 4 geothermals running all the time. So yeah, this thing consumes energy, but it makes things easier in my opinion. Alright, so as always, this is being episode 120, this being a 10th episode. I'm gonna upload the save file of the world as is. You guys can play it, enjoy it, whatever you want to do with it. And hopefully this time around I won't forget the download links the way I did the previous times. And yeah, so as always, thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.